All right, listen. Right now, the internet is exploding with AI builders. Lovable, anti-gravity, cursor. Every week, there's a new tool saying, build your whole app in 5 minutes. And I'm not gonna lie, these tools are powerful. But here's the truth nobody says out loud. AI builders don't fail. Your prompt fails. Because most beginners make the same mistake. They jump straight into the tool with zero plan, zero structure, zero clarity. They type one vague line like, build me an app like Uber, or make a booking system, or create a tracker app and make it look good. And they just expect the AI to magically understand everything. But AI can't read your mind. So what does it do? It starts guessing. And when AI guesses, you don't get a clean app. You get a Frankenstein app. Random pages, weird features, broken workflows, buttons that do nothing, and then people blame the tool. They say, this AI builder is trash, or these tools don't work. But the tool isn't the problem. The real problem is the way people think about building. Here's the punchline. When you're confused, AI is confused. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact 3-step system to proper prompting, so you can get clean, predictable, high-quality results from any AI builder. And stay tuned, because later in this video, we're also going to build something cool using these guidelines. If you want results like this, you're in the right place. If you're into this kind of content, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for future videos.
Before we actually dive into the 3 steps that we'll be talking about in this video, I think it is a good idea to go ahead and see what bad prompts actually do. In this video, we will be actually building expense tracker app towards the end of the video. But before we actually go through the steps of prompting and building the expense tracker app using that good prompt, let's actually see what will happen if you give a no-code tool, basic no structure prompt. I will give this prompt called build me an expense tracker app. Now, when I give it to Lovable to take some time to build it, now as you can see, they built us a basic expense tracker application. To be fair, it really did build it visually appealing, but it does not have a proper structure in it at all. You do not know what kind of thing will happen when you click on this button. As you can see, I'm clicking on this button now. It is not really doing anything. It is not deleting it as it should. And when I try to click on add expense, it is not adding any expenses either. As you can see, when you do not give proper instruction and do not give a proper prompt, these things do not work. Now let's dive into the 3 steps and see step by step on how to build the ideal prompt. Alright, so now let's get into step 1. And this is honestly the most underrated one, because most people think prompting is like type in some fancy sentence, but prompting is not magic. Prompting is clarity. And the reason most no-code AI's apps break is because prompt has no clarity. So the AI starts guessing, and when AI guesses, you already know, Frankenstein app. So before you touch Lovable, anti-gravity, cursor, anything, you need to define the outcome. And you only need to answer 3 questions. Question number 1 is, what does the app do? Not it's an app for finance or it's like Splitwise. No. Describe it in 1 sentence. Question number 2, who is it for? Because if you don't define the user, AI can't design properly. A student app looks different from a corporate app. A travel app looks different from a personal expense tracker. Question number 3, what problem does it solve? And this is the key one, because the AI needs to know what pain it's fixing. That's how you get the right features. So step 1 is simple. Define the outcome, define the user, define the problem. So let's apply this to our live example. This is the expense splitter application. Who is it for? This is for a friends group, especially people going on a trip, like 4 to 10 people. Everyone spends money, but nobody tracks it properly. And for the next question, what does the app do? It tracks shared expenses like hotel, petrol, food, and it automatically calculates who owes who. And then what kind of a problem does it solve? Simple. It avoids the biggest problem in every group. Arguments, confusion. So this app fixes that by giving 1 clear answer. Who owes who and how much. Now let's move on to step 2. And this is where most people instantly level up. Because step 1 use AI direction and step 2 use AI a blueprint. And this is the part most beginners skip. They define the outcome, then they jump straight into the tool and say, okay, build it. But here's the thing. Apps are not magic. An app is basically three things: screens, data, and logic. So before you touch any AI builder, you need to map the structure like a builder. Think of it like building a house. You don't start hammering nails without knowing where the rooms are, where the doors are, where the wiring goes. Apps are the same. First of all, map the pages. This is simple. What does the user actually see? List out the screens like a blueprint. Home screen, a main dashboard page, a form page to create something, a summary page, a setting page if needed. Even 4 pages written clearly is enough to make your app 10 times cleaner. Second of all, map the tables. Now the AI needs to know what information are we storing. This is where people mess up because they don't tell AI what data exists. So the AI invents random fields and your app becomes messy. Instead, you should define tables like users, groups, expenses, orders, and booking. And you don't need coding knowledge for this. Just answer what needs to be saved. Third, map the basic logic. This is the cause and effect part. For example, when something is added, something updates. When a user clicks a button, something happens. This is important because without logic, the AI might build a nice UI, but the app won't actually work. So step 2 is basically screens, data, and logic. And when you give AI this kind of structure, it stops guessing and starts building exactly what you want. Now let's actually see step 2 in action. Mapping the structure before building. So look at the prompt I have given to Laban right now. I'm not asking to make an app. I'm actually giving proper blueprint with pages, data tables, and basic logic. First, I have defined the screen, like what does the actual user see, home page, group page, add expense form, and a basic summary page. And watch this, I'm even saying exactly what each page should contain. Next off, the data tables. This is the part that makes app actually function. I define groups, members, expenses, and I define the relationships like one group has many members, one group has many expenses. When you don't do this, the AI starts inventing random fields and becomes messy. And then the basic logic rules like when an expense is added, recalculate balance. Only members inside the group can be selected in the dropdown. And default split is equal split. Super simple. So now the AI is not guessing anymore. It's just following instructions like a proper worker. Last but not least, step 3. And this is the step that separates people who get okay apps from people who get apps that look like they were built by professionals. And step 3 is really simple. Stop asking AI to build everything at once. Because most beginners will open an AI builder and type, build me the full app. And in their head, they are imagining the perfect product. But from the AI's point of view, the prompt is basically like saying, build me a whole house. Okay, but which rooms, which layout, which materials? So the AI starts guessing and you get chaos. The truth is, AI works best when it's given bite-sized instruction. Think of it like building a car. You don't build the engine, the seats, the wheels, and the dashboard all at the same time. You build it in parts, step by step. Apps are the same. So instead of one big prompt, you chunk your build into sections. Chunk 1, front end. This is what the user sees. Screens, layout, navigation, buttons. If your UI flow is clean, the whole app already feels professional. Chunk 2, the back end. Now define the tables, relationships, what data is stored, how different tables connect. This is the engine of that. Chunk 3, workflows and automations. This is the behavior. When user adds something, update totals. When user submits a form, save it to database. When user clicks button, trigger this action. Without this, you only have a pretty UI. Chunk 4, API integrations. If you need external stuff like payment gateways, calendar integrations, email messages, maps, you define these separately so they don't mess up your core build. Chunk 5 are edge cases. These are what-if situations. For example, what if a user deletes something by mistake? What if they refresh mid-process? What if data is missing? What if someone enters invalid numbers? Handling these early prevents bugs later on. And here's why chunking is powerful. When AI gets bite-sized tasks, the output becomes cleaner, the build becomes predictable, Debugging becomes easy and you stop getting Frankenstein apps. So step 3 is basically don't prompt like you're begging for an app. Prompt like you're managing an app. Look at this prompt really carefully. Notice how I'm not asking it to build the whole app at once. I am breaking it into chunks called chunk 1, chunk 2, chunk 3, and chunk 4, and likewise. That's how you stop the AI from yesing. This is the secret. Don't say build my whole app at once. Tell the AI what to build step by step, like a real developer. If you dump everything at once, the AI panics and starts freestyling. So I have chunked it. Front end, back end, flows, and even edge cases I have specified like prevent negative amounts or emptying. If group has fewer than 2 members, disable act express and show messages. The good thing about AI builders is if these edge cases become more, you can actually add it later on. But for now, keep the edge cases to minimum. Now the AI builder actually builds like a laser without having to guess any of the things. Beginning of the video, I promise you guys I will be building a full application with a good prompt, and I will show you that prompt as well. This is the full prompt with all the steps we have discussed so far. First of all, I start with say, think like senior full stack, no code app builder plus a UX designer. This way the code builder actually has an idea of how to think. And then I start by saying, what is the purpose of this build? So building a clean, working expense splitter app for friend groups on trips. Next, I head on to the step 1, which is defining the outcome. So here I actually answered the 3 questions that we discussed in the video. What the app does, who is it for, and the problem it solves. This is the way you guys have to do it as well, or else the no-code AI builder won't understand it properly. Next up is the step 2, mapping the structure and giving the proper blueprint. So the no-code build actually has an idea what it is building. I first start with the screen, the home page, show existing groups, and then I go on to the expense page. Then after the screens are done, I mention about the data tables properly. The groups table, the members table, the relationship that those tables has, all this stuff should be mentioned properly because this is the blueprint. And according to this, only the data will be stored inside the system. So this part also you need to carefully make the blueprint first and then give it to the AI builder. And then the step 3, building it in chunk. I first tell it to build the front end and then head on to the back end. The core logic part is actually really important because this is how your app works. Make sure to carefully go through it and make the description like after checking in 3 or 4 times. And then last but not least, the edge cases. This is the what if situation we talked about earlier. This also you need to go through this several times before giving it to the AI builder. And I have given some other constraints as well. Some extra features that the AI builders are usually adding on to the system. I don't want those. I also have mentioned that to keep the UI clean, modern and minimal. Those kind of requirements you can add as well if you want. And then finally, I mentioned about the output requirements, the fully working app with all these functionalities available inside of the application. Now the AI again has the idea about what we are actually building. So these kind of repetitive things might seem useless, but for the AI, this is a gold mine because it now has a clear idea about what it is building in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end as well. So now let's actually go ahead and start building this. This is the final application Laravel has built for us. As you can see, not a lot of details are there, but when you start using it, you will see that everything I have specified inside the prompt is available here, and every button you're seeing inside of this application is working properly like I intended to do. So let's first of all, go ahead and create a group. In here, you can actually give a group name and add whoever is going on that trip into that group as well. So first of all, let's give it a name first, and then let's add some random members to this group. Now I have 2 members added into Go 2026. So let's save this group. Now, there we go. Now this is the full application right now. So I will show you what I mean by this is a full application. When you press on that button over here, you can go to the home screen. And when you click on this, you can go to the group name and to the group details. When you can also delete this group if you want. And all the details are given as a summary over here as well. And on the summary page, no expenses summarized. I will get back to that when I had some expenses. Now you can actually do the main thing that this app actually intended to do, tracking expenses. So I will start by adding an expense. You can first select who paid what. I will select James. I will give a dummy number for now. And I will say lunch for now. And when I say add expense, you can see the lunch was paid by expenses. Under the expenses tab, you can see the lunch paid by James has been properly tracked. And when I go back, you can properly see that the total number of expenses spent in this group is visible as well in this group section. And when you go into the summary, you can properly see all the summarized details, individual balances, settlement plan, how much this guy should pay for who. All this stuff is available. Now I will add another expense to see whether this handle edge cases properly. I will add K and I will add this one. I will add fuel to this. Now this is an edge case because there are two members, one. So if this doesn't show properly inside the summary, that means this app has failed. Now let's go into the summary section. And as you can see, Kate has properly paid for James. She already paid for fuel and it balances out whatever settlement he had. Now, if you want to build something like this, you'd also need to properly follow the 3 steps we talked about. Defining the outcome, defining the blueprint, and building it in chunks. If you are serious about building solutions like this and you're willing to learn step by step and work on real projects, you're welcome to join our free community. Inside, we teach everything from ground up, starting from zero with practical hands-on guidance. And if you're someone who's interested in using this solution but doesn't want to dive into technical side and instead wants to move fast and scale sooner, you can also partner with us and hire our tech team to build these systems for you. Either way, the goal is the same, helping you move from ideas to real working solutions.